Well, we've talked on this show about marriage, and to this day, I tell guys, what do you want to get married for? And I ask women, why is this so important to you? People think it's going to be a big deal. They do. Now, why do I know about this? I've been married, divorced, and married, and divorced, and married, and divorced, and married, and divorced. I've seen how it works. I've been inside the belly of the beast. People say, you got married. You got married. Why do you tell people not to get married? You got married. Well, the reason I tell people not to get married is because I've been married 4 times. That's why I tell people not to do it. Let's say I put my hand over an open flame and I burn myself. Now I see your hand heading for the open flame. And I say to you, hey, don't put your hand over that open flame because it's going to hurt. Would your response be, well, you did it. Why did you do it? I did it, I had the experience, and now I'm saving you from having the experience. And just like with marriage, I think most people would put their hand over the open flame and find out for themselves. Then they'd say, ow, why didn't you tell me it was hot? I did tell you. You did it anyway. And that's how it is with marriage on this program. Now, Gary Sobransky, you have never taken the bait, ever?
Never.
Now, have you ever been pressured into it? Like, did anybody ever try to, squeeze your balls and make you do it?
No, actually, no chick has ever actually pressured me into that situation. I think I've felt the pressure more from my parents than from anybody else in my life.
Why do you?
Ever?
Why do your parents? Why do your parents carry?
By the way, they gave up on that a long time ago.
Well, if they haven't given up by now.
Yeah, no, they right, exactly. 42, never married. But in the 10 years that I've worked for you, I've never heard you say what you just said before.
Which is what?
Was that you expected marriage to change the relationship. That the day that you came home after having been married, you realized that nothing had changed.
Nothing had changed. And I found it out by doing it.
What did you think would happen?
Well, you are sold this bill of goods about marriage. I thought that things would get better.
Did you think that it was going to, that you guys were going to, like, love each other more? Do you think it was going to be all, like,
and there would be tangible benefits. Yes. She would now be so thrilled that I gave in and gave her what she wanted that things would get even better.
Now, did that exist at all in any of the 4 marriages when you guys got married? With any of those relationships, was it at least better for a little while?
No. No.
You just came home and threw your keys down.
That was it.
It was just another day.
What are we having for dinner? It was the same. In fact, the whole deal was, I would expect things would get better. The only thing that got better was that she would stop, whoever she was at the time, she would stop nagging me about getting married.
That was the only benefit. That's the
only way it got better. She stopped nagging me about that, but then she found other things to nag me about. I mean, one of the things that happens when you get married, one of the real negative things that guys don't expect, and I can tell you from experience, is they say things like, now that we're married, I feel comfortable telling you the things that I don't like about you. This is how the nagging begins. You know, before we were married, I didn't want to upset I didn't want to make you upset, you know. And then they start giving you the list of things about you that they don't like. Like in my case, I actually married somebody who, after I married her, told me, you know, I never liked having sex in the morning. So she had sex with me in the morning all the time. until we got married. And then she said, you know, I never really liked that. Well, now, where does that leave me? I just got married to you. Having sex in the morning to me is like breathing.
That's complete bait and switch.
Of course. But then you find out what the bait and switches all are once you get married. The surest way to find out all of your imperfections, all of the things she doesn't like about you. Here's another one. Guys, how many times are you sitting there with a woman and you say, what's wrong? She says, nothing. If you'd like to find out what that was, marry her. That is what she's going to tell you.
So she doesn't hold back once she's got the ring on.
All the things. Because, see, this whole thing was about getting you in the door and then making you over. So they quietly grit their teeth and suffer through whatever sex acts they don't like, whatever habits you have they don't like, whatever hobbies you have or whatever friends you have or your weed smoking or drinking, whatever it is that they don't like. They sit there and tolerate it until you get married. And then they feel like they've got the big mallet, the big sledgehammer. And then they start to take it out.
That's really a really crazy concept, what you're explaining right now, because you're saying that they know all these things.
Yes.
And they're about to get into a lifelong commitment with someone who they have to participate in these things with and they don't enjoy. But they're going to do it just to be married. Because
women have this idea that you mold something out of clay, that you polish up a diamond in the rough. Women are raised to believe you get a man, and men are slobs, men are inconsiderate, men are jerks, whatever. So you have to get them onto your little workbench, and then you're going to start working on them. So it does not deter a woman. If you do things that make her disgusted, you fart, you burp, you have friends they don't like, you drink too much, you smoke weed, they will tolerate absolutely anything until they get your name on the dotted line. And then they will tell you all of the things they never liked in the first place, so they can begin that procedure of changing you, which was always in the cards, but they never let you know it.
It's interesting because I went into this conversation thinking that it'd be kind of fascinating to talk to guys and see if they experienced the same anticipation of a change that you did, and then they didn't. But now I'm thinking it's just as fascinating, this concept that women go into it and end up with a guy that they basically just want to change.
Right. And I think it's extremely common. I don't think this is like the exception to the rule or rarity. I've been married 4 times. And 4 times I was with somebody who, after I got married to them, told me all the things they wanted to become different.
So you're saying that men and women get into marriage clearly for different reasons. Men think it's just going to make everything okay. Women get into it because it's like a bait and switch, and it now becomes a lifelong effort for them to now polish the...
Yes, which they look forward to.
Yes.
I mean, it's not an accident they put on TV shows like Extreme Makeover or This Old House. I always say on the air, women love buying fixer-uppers, and that's how women's attitudes are towards men. They look at somebody with potential. That word potential comes up a lot. This guy's got potential. I'll clean him up a little bit. Maybe get him to be a little more responsive, a little more considerate about birthdays and anniversaries, and get him to be closer to his family and be more considerate of them. And I'll get him to dress differently, and I'll get him to act differently. And, and you can't drink like that forever. Come on. College is over. It's time to stop partying and start getting serious. And that weed smoking, no. We'll start with you're not smoking weed in the house. Then you're not smoking weed when I'm around. Then we'll get to the point where I sniff your jacket and I smell weed on it. And I say, were you smoking weed? And you say, no, I wasn't. And then she says, yes, you were. I can smell it on you. And then eventually you're off to the races. And it is a constant process of her manipulating and changing you in every possible way.
What's the biggest thing you had asked of you that, surprised you the most? After you got married, you thought you knew the chick, obviously you thought you knew her because you were marrying her. And what changed the most in one of your 4 marriages?
I had a chick who would not take her clothes off in bed. Like, she would not get naked.
Your wife.
A wife who would not take her clothes off. She would wear a T-shirt, or she'd wear some granny panties, or she'd wear always a bra. And she never came to bed naked.
Did she explain it as a self-esteem thing? Did she explain it at all?
She said she's not comfortable doing it. But she was very comfortable doing it when we were not married, and she was coming over to my house late at night and drinking vodka. She was very comfortable then.
She'd get naked then?
Back when I had the bottle of Stoli in the freezer at all times, and she would come over and drink like a good stiff shot of Stoli Cristal. And then we would play, very loud music, and then she would just leap into bed, no clothes on, reckless abandon. And then later I was looking at she was always wearing the old Sam Adams T-shirt. Of course, as a radio personality, I've got that collection of old promotional...
It's your swag.
Yeah, my swag drawer. Suddenly it's the Body Solutions T-shirt from 5 years ago, or the Nutrisystem T-shirt from the 80s, or the Mojo Radio T-shirt.
Sleeping with your swag.
Right. Suddenly, you're looking over at all the swag. It's like swag memory lane. It's like every promotion I've ever done. Instead of seeing lingerie or seeing areolas, I'm seeing logos of beer companies, logos of liquor companies, shirts to bed, or they were wearing flannel nighties, or they were wearing what they love to call pajamas, which are really like these baggy pink things they buy at Victoria's Secret that have the word pink on them and things like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know those pants that have the word pink? As if, I guess it's for people who are colorblind and can't tell that these pants are blindingly pink. So the word pink is spelled out across her ass, so you know it's pink. Yeah, that becomes the bedroom wear. I also had somebody who told me, don't touch my hair.
In bed or?
In bed.
Don't touch my hair.
You're going to mess it up. Don't touch my hair.
This is like at night or
yes.
Like before she was going to work?
No, at night.
Oh, that's really bizarre.
Or don't breathe on me.
What?
Don't breathe on me. You're breathing on me. I was told that by somebody. You're breathing on me.
You've had amazing experiences.
Well, I'm telling you. But what's amazing, look, if I'm with somebody and they have some quirk that really bothers me, I'll do one of two things. I will either tell them, without being married to them, I will tell them, or I will simply stop seeing them. I mean, if you remember some of the plot lines on Seinfeld, where Seinfeld would find some little flaw in a person and would say, that's it, I can't date her because she has man hands, or I can't date her because... I was like that. I would find these flaws, I would just be out the door. But never did I say to myself, the game plan was never, all right, I'm going to marry her, and then once we're married, she has to listen to what I say, and I'm going to tell her what to do. That was never my game plan. But amazingly, it seems to be the game plan of many women.
Well, at least the 4 that you married.
Yes. Well, I think that's a pretty good sample size for one person.
I think it is, too.
I think that's a pretty good sample size. Now, you've been to my house. I won't say who it was, but I have an indoor and an outdoor hot tub.
Yes.
And I was with somebody who would not get in the hot tub. Would not get in the jacuzzi. Would not get in.
Before or after you were married?
After.
After. But she would before?
No, never did.
Just never?
Never. Never got in. Never explained why. Never did it. But the bottom line is, here's the thing. I never went into a marriage saying, all right, I'll just put up with this for now. And then after we get married, then I'm going to say, you know what? Now I can tell you all the things I don't like about you. I usually said what I didn't like right up front, or I just stopped dating somebody. But women are different. Women, because they want to get married so badly, they will tolerate absolutely anything. They will tolerate people they think are unsavory friends. They will tolerate weed smoking. They will tolerate excessive drinking. They will tolerate partying, womanizing. They will tolerate your desire to have threesomes or orgies. They will tolerate amazing stuff. Sexual fetishes, whatever. And the whole goal is to get you to marry them, and then they start telling you all the things you're not going to do anymore, followed by all the things you're not going to do anymore.
I think we should talk to women who have done this.
I think we should.
And guys who have gotten bait and switched.
Well, and the thing is, you get married, and yes, I believe that, because you hear these people calling in, I believe everybody who calls in thinks when they get married that somehow there's going to be this aura, this halo effect, and everything's going to be wonderful, and you're going to be served all these wonderful breakfasts and dinners, and you're going to be loving each other all the time, and things are just going to get better and better.
So not even like on the first night when you got back, there was no effort made to like make it special now that you got married? There was no like hot Teddy or anything.
Do you know that this is true, one of the marriages, and I won't say which one because she'll probably sue me like the rest, one of these marriages, there was actually a wedding, not a religious wedding or anything, there was just a wedding where people were invited, and there were a lot of people there, and so we had this day of having to sit and socialize with all these people. And then we had this expensive hotel room where we were going for the night before we went off to the real honeymoon because the flight left the next day. We went back to that hotel room, and she said to me, we've already had sex. Does it really matter if we have sex tonight? You know, I'm so tired, and it's been such a long day. We've been planning this wedding for so long. Can't we just wait? At my wedding night.
We can't identify this woman.
Oh, I'll tell you off the air. But,
wow.
Yes.
On your wedding night. Not even throw you a little bone.
No.
I
couldn't throw her a little bone.
Right.
Nothing. That was it. Now, by the way, previously, she had never turned me down. Never.
Holy crap.
It started on the wedding night. That's the day you would think it's the best day of your marriage. That's where it started, and it went downhill from there.
It's like getting it started. That's gangbusters.
That's
man,
right.
Right out of the gate.
That's right. So, yes, I do believe a lot of people listening think life is going to get... You get married, and you got that piece of paper, and you're sharing the last name. And women are obsessed with doing things like going to the bank, and you get rid of those checks you had that looked like business. You know, those checks with the watermark on them. It was very good for paying all the important bills. And they switch over to the kitty cats or the Hello Kitty checks with both your names or the same last name, or the puppy dogs or the Save the Wildlife Federation checks with alligators on them or whatever. So that's the first thing they do. Then they start doing things like they call up, People Magazine. And I have a subscription. My name is Mary Jones, but I'm marrying John Smith. So I want you to change it to Mary Smith. And they change the address in all the magazines to reflect your last name. So they're obsessed with doing stuff like that. But then once you get married, it's like they are now relieved that they don't have to pretend to like everything about you anymore.
That's heavy.
Can you see why I have zero interest in doing this again?
Yeah, I can see it.
Because it doesn't get better. In fact, the last couple of times I get married, and I think I was very honest with the two people I married, these were people who needed to get married. And I said, I'm going to marry you because you need to get married. But not because I want to get married. I don't. And I was stupid for agreeing to that.
All right, well, there are people calling saying that you're just making it sound bad. It's really not all that bad.
Yeah, well, these are all the people trying to talk their boyfriends into marrying. Well, we'll find out as we continue.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-866.
Why do you spend your whole entire being belittling other people around you just to make yourself feel good?
Because it's so entertaining, and so many millions of people like hearing me do it.
Sick, sick world, man.
I don't care. I'm just here to cash in on it, babe.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show from Hollywood. By the way, you should know our web address. If you ever want to listen to our show streaming live, no matter where you go, if you're in a city where the show is not airing, if you're in a city where they preempt us for sporting events, or who knows, sometimes the station changes format, we just get canceled, whatever, the way to hear our show is to go to blowmeuptom.com. Click on the Listen Live button between 3 and 8 p.m. or between 3 and 5 a.m. Pacific time at blowmeuptom.com. Write it down. You never know when you're going to need it. blowmeuptom.com. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. All right, let's go to Paula on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
The ratings, and have you seen my paycheck lately? Oh, my God.
I bet.
I had to have my discs fused because I couldn't lift all those digits.
I'm sure. So, I'm a fan of yours, and I'm listening to what you're saying. And, you know, I'm in a relationship. I hear everything you're saying. I totally agree with women try to change men constantly, all the time. I hear it all the time, all over the place. It's pretty annoying because it's not going to happen. But my question to you is, when you're in a relationship and there are always going to be things about the other person that for one reason or another you're not going to like, you're not going to change somebody, but how else are you going to make a relationship function if you want to be with that person if there are just particulars?
If these things bother you that much, you need to find another person.
Forever? When do you stop looking?
Well, guess what? You may have to accept the idea that people aren't perfect, and even if what they're doing that bothers you are not imperfections, they may not be perfect for you.
Right.
So you see, it's interesting how when women talk about compromise, the compromise is supposed to come from the man. We are supposed to change all the things you don't like about us, or we're not willing to compromise.
Okay, well, I agree with that. That happens the majority of the time. Now, I'd like to think that I'm an exception, of course.
Well, everyone likes to think that, and then they get married and they do the same thing everyone else does.
Right, that's what I'm trying to avoid. That's why I'm calling you, because I don't want to mess up. Because if I have your advice and it's free, why not? So like my boyfriend, there are things he doesn't like that I've done, or that when he met me, he found out I was a pothead and da-da-da, and I pretty much said, well, that's how I am, and you're either going to be with me or you're not, and I'm not going to change. And so I can see there are things about him that I'm not going to change, but there are things about me that I've kind of compromised on that have bothered him. So I think it's a give and take, but
I don't agree. Guess what? I am not going to change. I am not going to change. I'm not.
So that's just...
You know how many women I've said that to? I've said, guess what? I'm an atheist. That's not going to change. Guess what? Right. I like going to my 41 hockey games a year. That is not going to change. Guess what? I'm a jazz fan. I've got tickets to 8 weeks at the Hollywood Bowl this summer. You think going to the Hollywood Bowl is a pain in the ass? Sorry. This is not going to change. Guess what? If you don't want to go, I'll go with other people. But it's not going to change. Guess what? I've got friends who smoke pot. They've got medical marijuana certificates, and they smoke pot. Don't like pot in the house? I'm the wrong guy for you.
Right.
It's like that.
I guess, and I'm going to be single forever.
Well, no, there's a lot of guys.
I agree with what you're saying. You're not going to change people.
And I think when guys change for you, you act, even though they're doing what you want, I do believe women start silently losing respect for guys who are malleable and give up on these things.
Well, I agree with that, too. We're very flimsy because we like a man to be a man, but we want to manipulate him, and then when he changes, then he's not ballsy enough, I guess. So, I see your point. I guess my question was because, whenever do you compromise? Is it ever okay to compromise?
I don't tell women what to do. If a woman, for example, I don't like women who say, all my friends are men. So you know what happens when I date a woman like that? I never take it to the next level. I move on.
That's it.
I don't say, you're going to have to tell all your guy friends that you can't talk to them anymore because you're in a relationship.
Right,
I don't do that.
right.
I just move on.
Yeah, you know what? Then I guess you're right. I guess you've answered my question because there's no way around it.
If I meet a woman with a MySpace page, I tell them, I would never tell you to take that MySpace page down, but I'll tell you what, I would never have a serious relationship with you because as long as you've got a MySpace page, that's what but you see, here's the deal. The problem with people is that they try to be dictators.
Right.
I do the exact opposite. I say, I can't tell you what to do, but what I can tell you is what I won't live with.
Right, exactly. I try to practice that. I think the line's good work because I am still a female, so I guess I needed some focus, you know. But thank you. I appreciate your time and your advice, and will you take me out with a bong hit?
Of course I will, dear.
Thank you.
Shay on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. I just had a quick question. I was wondering how come it took you, 4 marriages to realize that you didn't want to do it anymore.
Well, I've said this on the air many times, and I'll say it again for you, but remember, I've said this repeatedly.
All right, Tom.
My parents were married for 40 years. My dad died after his 40th anniversary. When I got divorced the first couple of times, I believed it was because I had failed to do what I should be able to do.
All right.
I believed that that was the right way to do it. You get married, you try to make it work, you work hard at it. And so when things didn't work out, I was very hard on myself. It's like I failed. And so I kept trying to make it right. I kept trying to get it right. Until I finally realized it isn't me that's the problem. It's the institution of marriage that's the problem.
I see. So how long was your longest marriage, and which one was that, the first or the last?
The fourth one was almost 10 years.
Okay. And they all changed after you got married then? Most of them.
Well, it's not that they all changed after I got married, but what they did was they did things like say, hey, now that we're married, now I can tell you all the things about you I don't really like.
Okay. All right.
Which is what they should have told me before they married me, and that I could have decided whether or not I wanted to continue.
Exactly.
But they don't, because they want to get married so badly that they will tolerate absolutely anything.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Have you done that?
No. I don't have any plans on getting married. I don't
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm 20. I have too much to live for.
You have money, you said?
I'm 20.
Oh, you have.
But I do have money, too, so.
All right. Well, you see, I could tell you had money because, number one, because your name is Shay, and only people with money have first names like that. And secondly, I could tell because the fact is that, look, if you wanted to nag people and harangue people, you would be on the phone begging me to stop saying this stuff, and you're not.
Exactly, and I totally agree with you, Tom. I love your show. Keep doing what you're doing. You're great.
Shay, thank you for that.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
All the things that you tell guys to do, he has done to me.
And he's probably a lot happier now.
Without me?
Yeah.
See, why would you say something like that?
The Tom Leykis Show.
From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. You think everything's going to be great when you get married, and then reality sets in. Angie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. You changed my life.
I love that.
Yes. I wish I was listening to you when I was 19, but better late than never, right?
I wish you were listening to me when you were 19, preferably with my lips pressed up against your ear.
Ooh, that could have been arranged at that time in my life, too.
I was ready for it.
Wow. Anyway.
In fact, I still am.
Yes?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just really excited. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, so I was one of those 20-year-old girls who thought that getting married would have changed my life and was the best thing that I could have done, and I found somebody a lot older than me, way too older than me, and we got married, and it was horrible, and I wasn't trying to change him, and he wasn't really trying to change me, but just the whole situation just got intensified, and it was just, it was awful.
Wow.
So I had to leave very suddenly after 8 months. And
8 months?
Got myself a divorce and got myself through college, and in 5 weeks I will have that piece of paper.
Good for you. Another piece of paper.
Huh?
First you had the first piece of paper.
Yes, the bachelor.
Now you get it. No. I'm talking about the marriage license or the marriage certificate. Now you have another piece of paper.
Definitely. Well, I had the divorce piece of paper, and the marriage certificate kind of disappeared, so...
Really? How did he take being dumped?
He was not happy about it. He tried to commit suicide and a bunch of other horrible things.
Did you try to stop him?
No, I found out about it after, and I tried to go see him in the hospital, but he had this, bad reaction, and they asked me to leave. So, but then after that, he's like, no, I love you, I want you back. And I'm like, no. Thank you anyway, but, no.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and then also, 3 years after everything and, no contact. I mean, I didn't have any kids with this man.
No.
But I was going to go back and take care of his sorry ass.
He's still in love.
Oh, whatever. I don't buy it. He just wanted me to go back and take care of him, and I'm not cool with that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I am happy on my own, making it on my own.
Very nice.
And having fun in the meantime.
That's good, dear. Now you've learned the hard way.
Unfortunately, but I'm okay with it.
All right.
Yep. So, that's what I had to say. And can you please take me out with a bong rip followed by a thank you, Jesus?
Of course I can.
Thank you, Jesus.
This is Tasha on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Is that a question or a statement?
What is that?
Never mind, dear. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hi, Tom. I think you are so funny, but I just started listening to your show. But I'm just wondering, why would you discourage someone from getting married?
Because I know how bad it is, and I want everyone to know.
Okay, I understand that, and I feel that, I could live vicariously through you because you made the mistake, I guess. But, I've been proposed to, when I was, 19. I'm 25 now, and it wasn't me it wasn't him that didn't want to get married. It was me.
Great.
So, all the time, you always say it's the woman, but I'm like...
Why are you worried that I would be discouraging marriage? You don't want to get married. What's the problem with me telling people the truth about it?
Well, because I'm only 19. Well, I was only 19, and, I'm not trying to do it now or anytime soon, but I think there would be, something everybody wants.
Why?
And there's no reason why that you should discourage that. I just don't understand. I don't know.
Well, why would everybody want something that's so awful?
It isn't awful. What about those people who are happy?
There are people who are happy, but it's like I always say, there was a guy, this happened a couple of months ago. There was a guy who jumped out a 16-story window.
Wow.
And he lived.
Okay.
So since he lived, do you think we should all go up there and try it?
No.
All right. Well, same thing with marriage. If there is somebody who's happy, mazel tov, as the Jews like to say. Does that mean we should all do it?
No, but are you saying the odds are against us, which they probably are right now?
Yes. Because I've been married and divorced 4 times. That's how I know.
And Tom, where did you meet your wives? I mean, come on.
It has nothing to... Look, I'll tell you what, I didn't meet them on Match.com or Yahoo Personals or JDate, I'll tell you that.
I mean, I'm not saying it was your problem. I mean, maybe it was them, so I don't understand why...
How would where I met them have anything to do with the result?
Well, what type of people were they?
Did I meet them at a whorehouse? What are you talking about? Where did I meet them?
No, I mean, what type of people? I mean, I know that you said, okay, I can't stand you breathing on me. That was so funny because I told a guy that before, too.
There you go.
But that's, I don't know. And
if you can't stand, let me tell you, if you can't stand me breathing on you, You need to get your suitcase and start putting your panties in there, and you need to leave. Leave the spare key behind. If you don't like somebody breathing on you, that's the day the relationship should be ending.
So, why didn't you guys have, like, deep discussions before you got married? See, me, I'm like... Well,
that's a two-way street. I always told what I thought, and if I was upset about something or didn't like something, I always said so. But, you see, I was the one who didn't want to get married.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm telling you all the negative things. You want to get married. You don't want to discuss all the negative things until after you get what you want.
I do want to discuss.
No, I'm just saying.
Things, but
really,
you're talking about that person.
The other person, whoever the other person is.
Okay, but I mean, don't be so negative. I mean, like, there's somebody still out there for you.
Darling, even if there's somebody out there for me, I really shouldn't be marrying them.
Why?
Because I can have a relationship without getting married. I do not have to give people half my fortune.
And do you have children?
No, by design.
Okay, well...
Because I don't want to give some woman money.
Oh, okay, well, I'm not rich, but I don't have children either. So maybe, I don't know, but I don't know.
The father of the child ends up having to pay.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't expect him to do that. But
well, you're one of the few.
Yeah, of course. All righty, Tom. Well, I just think you're hilarious, but I just have to say a few things to you.
Well, I'm glad you did, Tasha.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for the call. Here comes George on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, George.
How are you?
Great.
Well, I wanted to share a quick story with you, how you kind of saved my life, too.
All right.
I was dating this girl for about 3.5 years. And I graduated college in 2003, and I wanted to, she wanted to settle down, and she was going actually for school and everything, but she started saying lately she doesn't want to work, she wants to have kids and all that, and living in Southern California doesn't really allow for that unless somebody makes a ton of money. So I told her, I don't see how you can't work and all that. So things got so, she wanted to get married and have kids and have me pay for everything. And I'm going for my master's. I have a little business that I'm pushing and working full-time. So she always told me I had no time, wasn't buying her anything, all that business. So that kind of set off a light in my head. And little by little, I started, and thank God I was listening to you, because all these signs, I was like, uh-oh, this is the same thing. She doesn't want to work. And she was going to get her master's degree. That was a good thing. But as soon as she told me that work wasn't what she was intending to do once we were married and had kids, I was like, oh, this is not happening.
No, unfortunately it didn't happen. Hey, folks, if you want to hear our show live, whether our radio show is on the air or not, go to blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Work and all that, so things got so, she wanted to get married and have kids and have me pay for everything. And I'm going for my master's. I have a little business that I'm pushing and working full-time. So she always told me I had no time, wasn't buying her anything, all that business. So that kind of set off a light in my head. And little by little, I started going away and not doing anything. And I just kind of prompted her to decide that I wasn't the person for her.
Good for you.
That was, and thank God I was listening to you, because all these signs, I was like, uh-oh, this is the same thing. She doesn't want to work. And she was going to get her master's degree. That was a good thing. But as soon as she told me that work wasn't what she was intending to do once we were married and had kids, I was like, oh, this is not happening.
No, unfortunately it didn't happen. Hey, folks, if you want to hear our show live, whether our radio show is on the air or not, go to blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.